Hi, we're at Real Rhythm Studios at Fairfield, Sydney Southwest. My name is Oliver Slewa and I'm joined by our wonderful Evan Yako at this fascinating and state-of-the-art studio. Thank you for having us, Evan. It's great to be here for welcoming us today.
Thank you so much for coming, Oliver, and thank you for your support as always.
My pleasure. Today, Evan, we want to talk about your upcoming concert at Sydney Opera House on the 25th of Jan 2023. It's extremely exciting. Everyone's hearing about it. We want to learn more about how it came about.
Yep.
It's a huge project and we're excited to speak to you about it. But first, Evan, we want to know more about who Evan Yako is. What was your journey before you came to Australia?
So, I was born in Iraq, Assyrian from Iraq, and as you know, Assyrians are the indigenous people of Iraq. I came to Australia in 1995 as a refugee. We left home at 1993. We went from Iraq, went to Jordan. From Jordan, we went to Bulgaria. From Bulgaria, we escaped to Greece, and from Greece we came to Australia in 1995.
It's quite a long journey to come here and start a new life, and I believe you're an inspiration to many other young musicians and emerging musicians. And to have a concert at the Sydney Opera House, it gives me goosebumps, honestly, when I think about such an achievement. And we're sitting in front of your drums. Did you always have a passion to play the drums, or what got you into it? What inspired you?
Yes, so I started playing the drums in a very young age. I remember I was 9 years old, and I just loved it. So I always ask my parents the question when I started, because I can't, as far as I can go back, I remember playing drums. So my parents told me always, since I was 3-4 years old, I used to just play the plates and all that. So on the age of 9 years old, I really wanted to play the drums. So what I did is I made my own drums out of buckets.
Wow.
Yeah, and I started from there. So I've been playing it since 9 years old. Obviously not as a professional, but since 9 years old. I've started playing it professionally about 19 years old.
I've heard that you've had a good rhythm, and sometime in the 80s you actually played live with your buckets that you've made.
Yeah.
You've made a drum set with buckets for a concert. Was it a New Year's concert? Tell us more about that.
So when I made the drums out of buckets, so I got called by a local band, and they said to me, "Do you want to come and audition? We need a drummer." And then I told them, "Look, I don't have drums. I've got drums made out of buckets." And they said, "Yeah, we've heard about it and all that, but we don't mind if you come and audition." So me and two of my friends, we got all the buckets and went from in our town was we were living in Baghdad, so we had to go to the wasn't far away, so we took all the drums, and me and my two friends, we went to the audition, and that day the musicians obviously liked it. They said, "Yeah, look, you very welcome to be with us in the band, and we have a New Year's Eve party coming soon." I said, "Look, I cannot bring a proper drums. I don't have a drum, so this is my drums." And they said, "Yeah, we really like the sound and we wanted to play with these drums." And then we practiced for maybe 1 month. This is when I was 12 years old. And then we played at New Year's Eve party with my buckets. But the band, obviously, the guitarist had a proper guitar and an amp, and the keyboard player had a keyboard and an amp, and the singer had a microphone. But with me, I didn't mind going with my buckets, and we played the party. And I remember I got tipped by the owner of the party 125 dinars back then.
That's fascinating. Like, for a young man to have that much passion with an instrument that sometimes in many cultures is kind of seen as the lowest instrument, where you keep the beat, and to have played at a concert live with your buckets just goes to show how much love and passion you've had, and to keep that going, because we're all youngsters love drums. I remember being young, I used to play on the table or whatever. We always wanted to have a beat, and I think you showcasing that with your buckets and for people to really enjoy it and to be tipped, it's just a fascinating achievement, honestly.
Thank you. Yeah, I always I can't forget that day, and I think that day gave me more drive to keep going. And look, I can't see myself do something else. I cannot. A lot of people ask me before. Sometimes my daughters ask me. Sometimes even my wife asks me, do you see yourself doing something else? I cannot see this is me, and I love this instrument. This is
Do you play other instruments?
No, I could play little bit of piano, little bit, but I wouldn't do that because I love the drums so much. I don't want to cheat on the drums.
Everyone loves the drums, Ivan, and then I guess when you're playing the beat, it just hits your heart.
Yes.
And fast forward 30 years, you're playing with one amazing drum sets, SONOR.
Yeah, I want to thank my sponsors, SONOR Drums and UFIP Cymbals. So SONOR is from Germany, obviously, and UFIP Cymbals are from Italy, and they've been looking after me really well. So I want to thank them.
That's a true sentiment to show the past 30 years you've gone from playing when you were young on buckets to being sponsored by SONOR. That's a great achievement. And I think it really shows the love you have for drums. And that's what we're talking about. Because you stuck to them. You're not like many other youngsters like myself. We always start with something small. But you really had that love. And you've continued it. And you've grown it. And today we're excited to be sitting in your studio. Real Rhythm Studio at Fairfield in southwest Sydney. It's honestly, the technology here is fascinating. It's state of the art. There's studio recording, there's a dance floor, a music school, and you've come a long way from that young boy who was playing in a concert in Baghdad, in Iraq, on your buckets, to today having that concert. I know about your healing through Evan Yako's drumming.
Yeah.
You've worked with young students. Could you tell us what is the aim, briefly, and objective of this project?
Okay, so Healing Through Evan Yako's Drumming, it's a program that I wrote. I finished the book. I haven't published the book. It's about 62 pages. So the program, I'm just going to tell it a little bit out of the... So the program aims targeting people, students that suffer from everyday life with confidence. Students, they suffer from trauma. People, they suffer from anxiety.
Yeah.
So the program, it's about, so first thing I teach my students, it's a little bit of meditation, it's a breathing techniques we do. And then the main thing in the program that is I explain to them how our body's got two different energies. I call the anger, red energy, and happiness, green energy.
Yeah.
And how we swap the energies from our bodies to the drums. And the program is been going for almost 9 years.
Yeah.
I've worked with different schools all around Sydney, from Sydney, Western Sydney to North Sydney to Parramatta. So
various schools.
Yeah.
And do you have approximately how many? So since the conception 9 years ago of this initiative, Healing Through Evan Yako's Drumming, which is great because I know there are reports out there, there are health reports out there to show how drumming actually heals the mind and relaxes anxiety and stress. How many students do you think you've worked with the past 9 years?
I don't have the exact number, but over 1,000 students.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I've observed it. I've been lucky enough to see the wonderful work you've done live, and I would suggest, if you haven't, to join or follow Evan Yako or Real Rhythm Studios and keep up to the work that you're doing with that, because there's always an influx of refugees, and we know that coming to a new country, starting a new life, just like you did, there is anxiety, there's stress, there's barriers, but today you've overcome all those and you're sharing that with other young people.
Yeah.
And we're learning about this amazing concert that you're having on the 25th of January at the Sydney Opera House. How did that idea come about? Was it something you dreamt about that you've been concocting for the past few years? How did it come about to do something at the Sydney Opera House?
Okay, so for the last 25 years, I've been working in the music industry in Australia. So I have been playing in bars, clubs, weddings, festivals. I've played for 2 people and I have played for 100,000 people. So, and Sydney Opera House, I've always loved, everybody loves Sydney Opera House. And performing there, I was booked last year to perform there with an amazing singer. And again, I'm performing this new year, 2022, with the same singer. But it's for me was I just wanted to do like as an independent artist, and take the Assyrian name there of my culture. And I've been working to build that profile, to go to Sydney Opera House. It's been for 25 years, and I'm really happy and excited that I got to that, because this was one of my boxes to achieve. And been very excited and happy, and I will make sure the concert will be amazing.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it will be, and it's a great goal to have, and you've achieved it. You've ticked it, as you've said, to be an independent artist and to be represented by Real Rhythm Studios as your main sponsor and endorser. It's really hard to get in. You've said you've played there, but this is different. This is unique. This is original. This is your debut album.
Last year we were booked, but it got cancelled last minute because of COVID. But this year we do it again. But wasn't my concert.
It wasn't your concert.
Yeah.
This is your debut album.
Yes, debut album.
And you're with a wonderful team of musicians and artists and vocalists. Which is what's being showcased at Sydney Opera House on the 25th of Jan, 2023. Don't forget that date. And you'll find out where you can get your tickets because they're selling fast. Yeah. But your album, Inspirational Stories, is the title. Yeah. What is that? What's inspiring about these stories? What are they?
Okay, actually a lot of people asking me about that question, and they're telling me, what is it, the storytelling that day? So I called it Inspirational Stories because the songs that I wrote, there's 12 songs there. One of them, it's an Assyrian folk song. We turn it from a very traditional a cappella to a very modern jazz song, which is We'll Leave That Surprise. But the other 11 songs are, each song have a story.
Yes.
Some of them are my stories. Some of them are my students' stories that they told me, and some of them it's my community, my Assyrian community stories, what happened to us, and how did, as you know, we all left home, and each of us went somewhere, and so it's all about every song have a story.
Every song has its own story, its unique story, and that's what inspired you, hence the title, Inspirational Stories. It's first time an Assyrian to be debuting his album with a band and at the Sydney Opera House, which is a heritage building. It's an exciting location. Everybody knows about Sydney Opera House. We take photos from the outside, but we're actually going to be inside listening to these inspirational stories, and we're not going to disclose it because it's exciting to go in and actually enjoy the music. You mentioned there's a fusion.
The genre of the album, it's world fusion jazz. So there's a lot of world rhythms, a lot of oriental melodies, a lot of jazz influence. So that's why I call it world fusion jazz.
World fusion jazz?
Yes.
It's for everyone, Ivan. It's for everyone who's got a passion for music, who enjoys jazz, who enjoys folk, who is not of a Syrian background. to come and really enjoy it. And it's only one concert so far at the Sydney Opera House.
Yes.
And to get into Sydney Opera House isn't just you go in and book, right? I understand there was, as an independent sponsored by Real Rhythm Studios,
Yeah.
you had to go through a couple of
It took
forms and documentation.
Yeah, it's not easy. Well, which is, I respect that. And as you know, Sydney Opera House, it's one of the icons in the world. And and for musicians, it's the last station.
It's the elite, basically.
Yeah.
That's
so
where the elite go.
it's not, obviously, it's not. I wouldn't say it's not easy to go in, but there is expectation from the Sydney Opera House, and I really respect that because look, you gotta work hard.
There is a lot of paperwork involved.
Yeah.
There's months and months and hours of planning just for getting into the Opera House.
Yeah.
But how long did you spend to prepare and record and compose your album, The Inspirational Stories?
So the album, I started the album 4 years ago, and because when COVID hit and all that, so including COVID time and all that, so it was 4 years. I should have finished before, to be honest. I'll be very honest with that. But I always, because I'm in Real Rhythm Studio. I'm the producer and I'm the drum teacher, and I do sound engineering. So, and when I have work, sometimes I always put my project on the side because I have to finish my customers' projects. And so it took me 4 years, but
you got there in the end?
Yeah, not only I got there, and I'm really happy it took me that time because I always come back, and just make improve of a lot of things. And and everything happened for a reason,
It sounds amazing. I was privileged only to hear 10 seconds of it. He's not going to share more because we're all going to be there on the concert to listen to it. It's on the 25th. It's only the one day.
Yes.
No excuse because the next day is Australia Day. It's a public holiday. You can come and enjoy it at the 25th of Jan at Sydney Opera House and relax the next day. Will people be able to grab a copy of your album?
Yes. So Sydney Opera House will be selling my album at the door. So when you go in, the album will be there. And even when the concert finishes, when you're coming out, the album will be there. Yes.
Congratulations, Ivan.
Thank you so much.
On this enormous successful feat that you've got into, and honestly, although you've got one endorser, one sponsor, Real Rhythm Studios, you've got the hearts of hundreds, if not thousands, of community members who are also overseas wanting to find out more about this. We wish you the best of success, and we hope that there's plans for you not to end at Sydney Opera House, but to expand and grow. Potentially Melbourne, Queensland, Canberra.
Yes,
Los
that's
Angeles.
the plan. That's the plan. So we're gonna go. The plan is to take the project and tour around Australia, and then we have plans to take it outside Australia. Hopefully, we'll just do it step by step.
Wonderful,
no rushing.
Wonderful, and I wish that would happen, and it will happen. Where can people grab their tickets? Online? Or?
Yeah, online. You just go to Sydney Opera House website and just on a search bar, just put Evan Yako and it comes there and straight away. It's very simple and very easy.
You heard that? Sydney Opera House, online, Evan Yako, Yako.
Yes.
Simple, easy to remember. You'll find it there. Purchase your tickets. They're selling quite fast. And we'll see you there, hopefully. Ivan, I want to take this opportunity to really thank you for firstly inviting us and welcoming us at Real Rhythm Studios in Fairfield. It's a great achievement. It's a big feat that you've made to achieve it in such a short period of time. It's not just an achievement for yourself, but I believe so many other young, emerging musicians in the community who will hear about this will be inspired. And you're being sponsored by Real Rhythm Studios. There's one sponsor, but truly you've got the hearts and the sponsorship and the endorsement of the community behind you. We're all proud to see a young, successful musician and artist in the heart of Fairfield playing at the Sydney Opera House. So thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, Oliver, for your amazing support as always. And I would like to thank Shayna Organization, Shayna Humanitarian, for the beautiful job you do, guys, in Fairfield area and around Western Sydney. And hopefully I will see you guys there.